Hello, and welcome to another episode of Build with Raymond. And today I am just going to talk about a landing page makeover that I've just done for Wisp. And for the longest time, I've been wanting to do it because, uh, you know, I've been getting feedback that, my previous landing page, this one, isn't speaking to people, right? As a developer reading this, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. And as, let's say, a startup CEO reading this, I don't know what is this going to be used for, right? And maybe what we can do is just do a little bit of analysis over like what's the old one, what's the new one, what's the idea behind the landing page review, and what are some of the resources that I use to kind of like build this new landing page here. So first up, this is my old one, and you can see it's like, oh, make for you the modern day, whatever, whatever. And we dive straight into like, oh, this is your first class editorial experience. And at this point in time, people are wondering, okay, wait, what is this about? Why is there an editorial experience thing right here, right? So that's a disconnect. And then later on, go beyond managing content, right? And the initial idea behind this landing page was kind of like, oh, people know about headless CMS. They know to choose between like different competitors, and what make mine stand out is a first class editorial experience. But now with a lot of data from my website visitors, I can see that the lowest converting set of users is actually from the landing page, simply because they don't know what they are getting themselves into when they're reading this website, right? And probably the best part about it is just like starting fresh, deploy our blog starter kit in 20 minutes or integrate within 30 minutes. This is probably the clearest. So I'll show you like what is my new website's looking like. So the whole idea is to speak directly to developers, right? And you know this is what we do, right? As developers, when we are updating content, it'll be like, okay, feature new blog posts, right? Fix typos, right? And that's at this point, you know that there's like the annoyance built in already. And over here, it's very clear what was the technology. Although, Wisp can actually integrate with any framework at all, I guess it's going to be more effective if I just target one framework first and then see like how that takes off before I think about like any other adding other frameworks in. So over here, it's just very clear, add and manage blog on Next.js, right? And why do you want that? Because you want to focus on building important features and not pushing like fixed typo this kind of commits. The next thing is what is Wiz about? We are a headless CMS for Next.js and React. No more image hassles or markdown, boost traffic and update content in minutes, not hours, so that you can focus on things, right? So then the next thing is immediately you can see that there is social proof. The difference here is that back then this is one of my first landing page, and of course there isn't like real companies using it. But now that there are plenty of customers sign up for it, I can actually start showcasing some of the logos that is out there. And the first thing that you see here is the problem agitation, right? Where we talk about like, hey, what is your issue first, right? Are you, feeling that you're being slowed down, whether by yourself or by your teammates, due to content updates, right? Are there non-developers inside your team, right? Or it's just you are getting constantly put away to do blog updates, formatting, and all these interruptions and distraction, right? That's annoying, right? The next one is image hosting, right? You want to upload and serve the image while not cluttering your code base, right? Are you pushing images to your Git repo, right? And the next thing is probably the most important. Are you distracted from your core features, right? You could have been shooting like $1 million ideas, but here you are trying to build a blog, right? And do you really need to commit to sprints on blog, right? And over here, I'm agitating it further. Do you need to build things like pagination, related articles, and such, right? Don't let this distract you from shipping features that move the needle. So over here, instead of like just targeting at like, hey, do you want to build a blog? I'm just telling people that, hey, this nice little blog that you're thinking about building, it looks like it's going to throw you off course, right? So we agitate the problem further, right? And then the next thing is then the solution, right? So here's two things, right? On one hand, you want to ship content fast with either your marketing team or whether it's just yourself. And the more important thing is actually to take to put your development hours to better use, right? Cool, ship features, right? Stop trying to just slap a block on it and then spend like 1 2 sprints on it and wasting time on it, right? And it's like don't let adding a block throw you off course. Wisp help you reduce interruption, boost your site's SEO, and let you focus on what matters, right? So you can see this is the overall theme right now instead of like, hey, we are just like modern day headless CMS, right? The whole messaging around here is like, hey, you deserve to spend your time on things that matters. Blog isn't one of them. Let us help with that, right? And over here, you'll see like I talk about like some of the key things like that usually are some of the top blockers to people, right? Am I going to take long to integrate this? Like no, only a few lines of code are required. Is this going to be slow? Right? No, it's lightning fast, right? Is my marketers going to hate it? No, it's designed to feel like Medium or Notion, right? You know, is it going to work, right? And here's the result, right? Someone, use it to boost organic traffic, right? And then the next thing is that, oh, now that I'm intrigued, right? What do I do, right? So here's 3 steps to get started. Number 1, sign up, right? The first post. Number 2, click on setup. Number 3, follow this specific instructions under the setup to get it up with your blog. So it's very clear communication of like, oh, once I sign up, what do I do, right? And over here, you can see a live examples of that scrolling through. And it ends off with a simple one: ship faster today, get started, right? There's probably better messaging to this, but in the interest of time, I've already spent like almost 2 days on this, so I'm just gonna ship it like that first. Okay, so now why this, right? So the first thing that I mentioned was that I'm getting a pretty low conversion on the front page, right? And that's something that I want to fix. And there's been like 2 or 3 different marketer or growth people who told me about like, hey, there's probably a better way for you to communicate your idea on your website. And so I'm actually acting on that. So some of the people that actually have looked at my website gave me a few good resources where I can look at. So I'm going to share them with you right now. So first up, maybe a good example. So this is the website of a person on Learning Loop, and they have a very clear thing for this messaging for a corporate secretary website, right? It didn't go around saying like, oh, we do all those things, and everything. It starts off with like, give us your admin, right? How would you feel if all those mundane tasks, things that you have been avoiding, were suddenly taken care of? Oh, now I'm intrigued, right? Because previously I'm just thinking corporate secretary, yeah. But now you are like pushing on the problem. You're telling me, hey, you have been sitting on those things. Those are important, mundane, and you have been avoiding it. What if we take it off your hand? Okay, now that's a great value proposition. That's a good problem teaser. It agitate the problem a lot, and right now I'm intrigued to go on further. Here at Duelix, we excel at the boring stuff. Not only we are better at operational admin than you, but we also have tools, process, and technology that will keep you more organized, more cost effective, and less likely to miss deadlines than if you did this alone. So you can see this is their advantage, and this is what would happen if you had done it yourself, right? And again, right, you see over here, the narrative is that so that you can focus on what matters most, right? Let them own the problem so that you can focus on what matters most. Same goes for Wisp, right? I want to take the problem off their hand so that they can focus on what matters most, right? Because something that is interesting that I noticed for products like Wisp is that we are not the revenue drivers, right? Hardly, right? People do not directly connect us to driving revenues in the business. So it's very hard for us to say like, hey, download Wisp or get started with Wisp and you can get 68% more sales by the end of like next week, right? or you can make $2,000 extra by the end of next month, right? So it's very hard for companies like Dulix, myself, to kind of like, hey, um, how do I make the value proposition enticing for you? And I guess the best way to do that is actually your time, right? Founders time, whoever's reading this, developers time, founders time. These are things that matters, right? You could be using that to do something amazing, but here you are trying to slap a block on, right? That's boring. Let us handle the boring stuff for you, right? And this is the kind of like messaging that I want to portray over here in the new revamp of the website. So another resource, so going back to here, there are a few resources that helps me think about like building good landing page. The first one is this one, which talks about the breakdown elements by elements, right? What each one should be, and then there are good examples of that. Let's say we are the top free learning platform for language learning. Change it to learn a language for free forever. So making your language super precise. This is something that I'm trying to learn as well, because I tend to be a little bit more verbose when it comes to whether writing or thinking or speaking. So this is something that I'm trying to do better at. So this gives us a very good way to kind of like work through what are the alternatives out there, what's the better solution, what can I use to like convey this idea here. Another one is this website called Fletch PMM. They actually gave examples of startups that have worked with them, and transformed the landing page from like what was previously corporate speak lingo that speaks to nobody at all, to someone who's like, oh, your team deserves better than impersonal gift cards. Okay, now you are intrigued, right? So you don't want things like corporate lingo. Oh, they are here to transform your culture. No, right? Use your customers' lingo to do that. So over here, you can see a lot of different examples, like scale your sales from 6 to 8 figures without working harder, right? Break through your PLG growth plateau. Oh, now this looks like someone within the industry would talk about, right? So you try to use like lingo from your customers. So over here, you can see like fixed typo. Yeah, if you are facing this issue, if you don't understand this, you're probably not my target customers. If you see this, you're probably like, oh, this is a developers who have been through this before, right? So one of the things that you want to do is to speak your customers' lingo and show that like you understand their pain, right? So this site over here, Flash PMM, they have plenty of examples for you to like go through and seek inspiration from. Aside from that, so there's also this Twitter tweet over here that talks about a high converting landing page. And over here, I think it's inspired by some of the designs of websites of startups in Y Combinator, where I think this lady Katie Dill, who is the I think head of design of Stripe, actually walk through like the different landing page of like different startup to try to break down like if it is good as a landing page, whether it will be converting, it's the best converting website that it could be. And one of the study is that a lot of the YC startup actually looks like this, right? It starts off with like the above the fold information where you have like heading, subheading, and possibly a video, a demo video. So in the interest of time, I want to ship fast and didn't wanted to add a video that I already filmed, but it's not really up to my standard, so I don't want to put it up there yet. So this is my above the fold, right? So immediately you load, you see this information, and you see like some trusted like these companies. So very similar to like what they have here. The next thing is like show us the problem. So you want to agitate the problem. So what is the old way about, right? You might want to talk about the new way, which is your way, right? And then you go into like the benefits, right? And then how it works, pricing, FAQ, call to action. So a lot of this are the modern day high converting landing page, right? So I think Namya also talked about different kind of like landing pages like AI SaaS, SaaS landing page, and yeah. generally, like this is a good resource to kind of like think about how to structure your landing page. The next thing is that getting to code is also annoying. Like I didn't want to spend even more time on this, so I found that there is this like a Magic UI Pro which has some templates for this SAS template, and that is exactly what I did. Right, so at first I was using it wholesale, then I realized that there was some errors with like this video playing, and I hated it. Um, Looking back, it's not the best purchase, but it kind of like shaved a couple of hours from me, so it's not that bad. It costs I think about $127 if I'm not wrong. So you can start to see like the commonality between here. So I was using some of the components over here where you can see like okay the problems, right, and the solutions, right, and then your 3 steps to get started, right? And testimonial, something that I already have, but haven't really like put that in. Don't really want features in there, right? And I want my pricing to be somewhere else. FAQ to be with pricing as well. So pretty much use this template to kind of like ship my new landing page, right? But that is not before I did research on this. So the next thing is, how do I actually word the different um, title over here? So first up, I guess some of these things, unless like you are a developer yourself, you probably wouldn't like think about these things. You wouldn't use the lingo. The next thing is I actually had the help of like ChatGPT or I think this is Claude, if I'm not wrong, and I gave it this prompt. Last one. Uh, Saying that it's a communication expert, and these are some of the things that I have learned from the different various like examples over here, right? And use this to actually get it to shape my landing page. So over here, I'm like, okay, do all of these things and ask me questions to further understand like my product. So it starts to, ask me like, who am I targeting? What's my competitive edge? What's the common pain point, user success and all, and which I did, right? And based on that, it tries to come up with a header, add a blog to your Next.js site in less than 2 hours, right? No more rebuilds, hassle-free setup, combating common objections, and highlighting benefits effortlessly at blog, fast and marketer friendly, right? Um, so I didn't like that it's speaking to CEO, so focus on developers and engineering leaders. So it starts to talk about developer efficiency and speed, no more rebuilds, highlighting the ease of use, right? So choosing something that I like, and then give it more instructions to build a feature. So over here, it's trying to do some feature identification on like what are some of the top features that I do want to use, right? So give it more example. Then you can see the first one is ease of integration, distraction-free editor, SEO boost, global CDN, custom React components, which I didn't end up using, right? I thought it could be distracting, right? So what it's good is also try and make things more concise. So this is one of my first iteration at the describing what Wisp is about, which is the one right here, right? And instead of this one, I'm like cut the half of the words out, and then they're like Wisp simplifies blogging for Next.js and React, no more image hassle, markdown. And I was like, okay, that works. And just as I thought, like this couldn't be simplified further. You can always do it with. They can always give you another suggestion. Now the next one is like adding a problem agitation problem, right? Section. So you can see, are you, spending time integrating stuff? Are you, struggling with markdown? Is SEO not working for you? Is content delivery something a problem? And I reshaped it with some of the things. And over here you can see, oh, are these issues slowing down your blog management? Okay, better, but I don't really like this, right? Um, there you go. So now it's getting personable, right? Um, it's like previously block management is like, what the heck? What do you mean by block management? Now it's talking about like, oh, are you, is like content updates slowing you down? And then you're like, yes, that's it, right? Content updates slowing you down, right? So you can see like I refine it further, right? So there's this like back and forth between me and the AI to try to like distill down the problem. So and there you go, you can see interruption from team member, constantly being pulled away, uh, frustration dealing with images, distracted from core features, right? You see, so that's where things starts to come together. It's like, that's the messaging that I want to use, right? So you can see like this is still very, this is good, right? You can see that I'm liking this already, but I'm trying to make it more concise, right? And there you go. It's even more concise now, which is content updates slowing you down, right? And we go into like the different things and constantly helping managing and serving, lost focus, and then I'm like, okay, still missing some things, and then I got it to like word it better this time around. And then we move on to the feature section, which talks about like tell me get up, set up the get started, and then the various steps. So I put in some examples, and then it was bad. And finally, something that is not bad. Write your first post, sign up with Google, navigate, watch a short clip, set up and all. So I was like, okay, now make it concise and use prose instead. So it has this card, which is still rather verbose, and then I'm like, use around 180 characters for each of the steps. And there you go. Now this is giving me like a rather concise, messaging for this one right here, right? So let's write the first post, sign up with Google, GitHub or email, start writing in the new tab, choose the setup method, follow setup instructions. Now we are getting it, right? So that's how I use AI to actually like put together my landing page. So I'm actually gonna put together like this in a blog post so that for those of you who are interested in how this goes, and if you want to steal like this prompt that I have over here, feel free to. Um, if not, that's pretty much it. Okay. Mm, let me know what you think about the new landing page, right? Now that I have reworded the messaging, right? Let me know like if it speaks to you if you are a developer or it's even more confusing. All right. I'll see you in the next video.